Hello guys, this is your girl Naledi Luzipo. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, which is called Family Hot Topics, y'all. You know what it is, you know what time it is. So first things first, I'd love to thank all of you for subscribing to my channel, for liking my videos, and for leaving your comments down below. I really appreciate it. And for those of you that do not, I see you. So guys, please, I'm begging you, all right, please do like and do leave your comments down below, because I don't want to be the only one talking here. I want this to be like a two-way thing, whereby you guys also leave your comments about whatever topic that I'm discussing. You leave your maybe comments about what you want us to talk about next time, and you also engage, tell me about your own experiences. So that would be very nice, to hear from you guys what you have to say, which leads us to today's topic, which is communication. I know it's like something that's so easy. People have done this over and over again. It's not something new, but the reason why I chose to talk about it is because I feel like it's something that's simple, but a lot of us miss it. We don't know how to communicate with each other. We don't know how to effectively communicate with each other, and because of that, a lot of relationships end. Relationships end, friendships end, and sometimes even get fired from work because of the miscommunication, with your boss or with your colleagues. So that's why I saw it as important to talk about. And a friend of mine, I think we were talking sometime this week, and we're actually talking about that, and how people don't know how to do it. So that's why we're talking about this certain topic today, but I promise it's not gonna be boring. So this is how we're going to do it. I've come up with about 8 questions. No, it's not questions, but it's more like 8 points, that I want us to tackle on. And those are mostly about what do we miss when it comes to communication. Like, what is that one thing, or even if it's not one thing, but what things do we miss when it comes to communication? It's either with our bosses or with our spouses or our friends or whoever. So please stay tuned for that. Alright guys, so I wrote the 8 points in my lovely diary. So let's get started. So the first thing that we miss when you communicate is not really listening.
Listen to the song here in my heart, a melody I start but can't complete.
And I have to say that I'm responsible for this. I mean, I've been in conversations whereby I wasn't really listening. It's either my mind was somewhere else, or I was busy with my phone, or watching TV. And if I'm not looking at someone when they're talking, like, I'm just not there. Like, that's just me. So not really listening is one of the things that makes us not to get the points across. And we have to pay as much attention as we can to someone when they're speaking to us. And I think that's something that a lot of us do not do. Oh guys, especially when someone is on their phone. Yeah, I think it's so annoying. I'm someone that loves my phone, but not to that extent. So you do get those people that are always like, yeah, always on their phone. Oh my god, I just wish I can take that phone and just smash it on the wall or something, because it's annoying. Okay, so the second thing is assuming you know the message before the person finishes. And I think a lot of us are guilty of this, whereby like you already know what someone is gonna say, man, even before they even finish, you know. So for example, I think I was talking to this friend of mine this other day, and I knew what she was talking about, you know. I knew what she was gonna say, or at least in my mind I thought I knew. And it was something that was totally different, you know. It was a different outcome. It was not what I thought it was it was that time. So that actually caused us to have like a little conflict, because assuming is not good, guys. You can't assume what someone is gonna say. You have to listen attentively. You know what teachers used to tell us at school in primary, you have to listen attentively, which is also another skill that is important. Okay, so please, let's get rid of that, right? um the third one is interrupting the speaker. Interrupting the speaker. Wow, this is something that I think I used to do a lot back then, you know, not now. Or maybe, when was that? I think it was back in 2 years ago or a year ago, whereby I just interrupt the person when they're talking, and I just want to get my point across. And especially when you already have an answer, you know, before someone finishes talking, you already have an answer, and you just interrupt them because you don't want to forget. You don't want to forget that point, so you just, you know, just get in there and interrupt them, which is not good. And I think a lot of us do it, you know, especially couples, because I don't think you would do that to your boss, but I'm pretty sure that you would do it to your girlfriend or to your boyfriend or to your child or whoever, or even your friends. So it's something that I think most of us are also struggling with. Anyway, let's go to another point. The other one is using you statements instead of I statements. Take it in. Using you all the time. You. So what does that mean? It means that you don't want to take any blame. You don't want to take any kind of responsibility. And I think one example that I wrote down is, for example, saying that you didn't call me back, instead of saying I felt hurt when you didn't return my call. So do you guys notice the difference there? It's like, you didn't call me, and what is that person gonna do? He's gonna defend himself. He's automatically gonna get on defense mode, that well, you didn't call me first or whatever, because they're gonna feel like you are attacking them. So like, you can maybe say I felt hurt, so that's you now, so the person knows how that made you feel, you know. And I think they relate more when you do it like that. I felt hurt when you didn't return my call, you know. And I think it's something that most people do actually, that you didn't take out the trash, you told me that you loved me. You know, like that relationship drama, guys. But it's always you, and you're not taking any blame for it, you know. So that's why people automatically get on that defense mode, because they feel like they are being attacked, you know. And that's not something that you want to do, because at the end of the day, you want to resolve whatever conflict that you guys have, you know. Even if it's not a conflict, but whatever conversation there is, but at the end of the day, you want to come to a solution instead of creating more problems, because that's what usually happens, that more problems arise, you don't talk to each other, and basically nothing is fixed, you know. So you want to avoid doing that by all means, right? Yeah, do we agree, guys? Mm-hmm. Can y'all, of y'all, can some of y'all relate? Because I know I can. Anyway, the fifth one is letting your emotions dictate your response. Guys, time out is needed. Like when you are angry, when you don't feel like talking, you know, or when you feel like smashing things, like just take a walk, take a breather, take a walk, or do something that's gonna, cool you off. Because that's one thing that we tend to do, we respond with our emotions, and then you end up saying all the wrong things that you didn't want to say, or maybe the things that you didn't even mean. So it's important to like take some time out if you are that kind of person, or at least take a minute to think about it before you can respond. That's always wise to do. Not listen to respond, but listen and take it in, and then you can respond. Because someone is telling you about their feelings, about how they feel. So it's them, not you. Not your own feelings, but their feelings. So you can't argue with how they feel. I think a lot of people also tend to do that, like tell you that you're lying. Like, bruh, it's mine. It's how I feel. It's my own feelings. So what do you mean? It's one of the things that we tend to do, which is not cool at all. It's not cool. And yeah, I'll stop there. I'll stop right there. Number 6 is misinterpreting the message. And I think that I tend to do this. I still do it, but I'm improving. I'm getting there. Especially when it comes to phones, like when you write a message for someone on WhatsApp or on Facebook, and the way that they read it is not how you intended. I don't know how to put it, but it's because sometimes when someone is reading something and maybe they are in their feelings, then they're gonna misread whatever you have written. You guys understand what I'm trying to say. When you write a message to someone and maybe they are angry at something, or maybe they feel a type of way about you, then the way that they're gonna read that message may be different from how you wrote it, or you intended. So I try to avoid that as much as I can. If it's something that's serious and needs us to resolve whatever it is that we need to resolve, then for me, I'd rather call, or maybe we can meet up to talk about it, but not over the phone, because people, they tend to always guys, they always do the opposite of what is written there. Because I remember last year with the person that I was dating, we were going through our things, and then we were just exchanging messages on WhatsApp, right? And then I'd be like, why is he angry? Like, what's up with that? And then I would also respond, I'd also put my own attitude to it, and I'd be like, who does he think he is talking to me like that? And then the whole thing just, the whole thing is just messed up now, because it's not how you intended the message, but then the other person is how he is, that's how he's receiving it. So I think it's safe to just call someone, or maybe to meet up and discuss whatever, because later on, when we argue over the phone and then we meet up later on and then we talk about those messages, it's the opposite of what the message was intended to do, and then I just decided that we have to stay off WhatsApp for that reason. Anyway, moving on. Number 7 is being indirect. Oh, we get a lot of people that do this. People that oh my god, people that say something but don't say it to you, but they're just being indirect, about it. And I hate that, because if you want to say something to someone, just say it. Just be direct about it, because being indirect doesn't really help the situation. it won't help you solve anything, you know. So just try to be direct as much as you can, because sometimes it might be a sensitive topic, but it has to be done, you know. It has to be done. So just, it's better to be direct about it, and don't beat about the bush, because that doesn't help you. It takes your time away, and it makes the thing to go, the conflict or whatever, to go for much longer than it was supposed to go, or whatever. So just try to avoid that, doing the indirect messages. It doesn't matter even if it's with your friends or with your spouse or whatever. Just try not doing that. You know, it's not cool. I don't like it. And the last point is avoiding difficult conversations. Oh, guys, you know, like when you are in a relationship with someone, and then they say that we need to talk. Woo! my heart, my heart just beats faster, because you know that, you know, ish is real. You know, I don't want to say any swear words, but you know, ish is real when someone says we need to talk. You know, it's something that's serious. Your stomach starts getting all grumbly and stuff, because you're nervous. You don't know, you know that it's serious, and you don't know what it is, and you just want to avoid that with everything that you have. So I know it's hard having those serious conversations, man. It doesn't matter even if it's with your significant other or with your boss or whatever, but it's hard. But then it's just something that we have to do, you know. Because if you want to move from one level to the next level, then you can't do that without communicating, you know, because at the end of the day, no one is gonna know what you're thinking unless you tell them, right? So it's something that we have to do as well, right? So please stay tuned for more. All right, guys, so moving on, we're going to talk about how can we, myself included, improve our communication.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking, the hot pot, fucking on your bitch, yeah, that, cooking up dope in the crock pot. We came from nothing to something, nigga. Hey. I don't trust nobody, grip the trick, nobody. Call up the gang and they come and get gang. Cry me you.
You know, this is just the research that I did, and when I look around me and people that are good when it comes to communication, I also see those points that I found when I was doing my research. I was like, you know, Will does that, or maybe Will and Jada, that's what they do, or maybe some other couple or some other person that is able to communicate well. So I saw a link with these points that I also wrote down. So the first one is make communication a priority, right? And this includes like taking classes and reading books, magazines, etc. And the funny thing is that when I was listening to I think it was Jada Pinkett Smith's live, and she was talking about her marriage, right, to Will Smith. You guys know, or for those of you that didn't know, she's married to Will Smith, y'all, the finest man alive. Okay, anyway, let's get back to business. So one of the things that she said was that her and Will Smith went for they went to communication classes because they wanted to communicate with each other better, because they saw that they were failing at that. So I think she said that they went on classes that will enable them to communicate better with each other, which is one thing that people take for granted. I mean, a lot of us, let's face it now, guys, or let's just be honest, it's highly unlikely that you might go to communication classes, right? Or if there's an article in the magazine, then you'll just skip it because it's not important to you, but it's something that's actually so important. And maybe it's one of the reasons that they have a successful marriage, because they went to those communication classes. And there's a lot of other people that also say the same thing, that maybe they took some classes that will enable them to communicate better. Maybe they read a lot of books, that enabled them to change their ways of doing or their ways of communication, because it's one thing that if you do wrong, then you can lose someone, or you can lose your job, because of the miscommunication. So it's something that we have to look into. Right. The other one says, take time to respond. Right. I think I also mentioned this earlier on, that you have to take some time out, to take a minute to think about your response. Don't just be quick to respond, because I think that's also being, you're being defensive. You're not really listening what the other person is saying. You're not really hearing what the other person is saying. So just take some time to respond, even if it's a WhatsApp text, or a text message, or an email, or whatever. Just take some time to respond back. I promise you that is a very helpful, and I've learned to do this. Because I'm someone that usually rushes to answer a WhatsApp text or whatever, but now I take my time. And when I read it an hour later, 2 hours later, I thank myself because maybe things would have gone the other way around. But I took some time and I responded, and I chose my words wisely, because the words can be very important. I mean, words can be very powerful. So you want to be careful with them, and, use it to the best of your ability or whatever. But you guys know what I'm saying. Y'all understand me. So the third point is your body language is very important. So sometimes when you are talking to someone, and this is something that I usually look at when I'm talking to like my family members, someone can say something, but maybe their hand is here, or their hand is there, and they look bored, or they look worried. You read into that. It's not what's coming out of their mouth, but it's something that they are doing with their body, their body language. So even if you're talking and you are doing this, or you are doing something else, then I automatically zone out. I stop with whatever I was doing, because for me it's like you're not interested in listening to me. So the body language is something that is very important. Don't be out here looking sleepy, or maybe looking bored, or it's like your mind is not here, or you're just laying down, and I don't know, guys, but just be careful about your body language, right? It's also important. And the second last point says you have to listen without being defensive. And it's something that I've been preaching now throughout this video, that most people love to be defensive, and it's something that you have to snap out of. Darling, no one is here for that. No one wants to be around such people. No one wants to be friends with such people that are always defensive. Or everything you say, they always snap to that defense mode. It's not sexy and it's not cute. So you have to stop doing it. I mean, I try by all means not to do it, so it's something that I'm constantly working on as well. The last point is be specific. Nothing beats being specific about your message. whatever you trying to say, just make sure that you use simple terms and you are very specific about it. You tell people what you want, you know, in very simple terms, and you have to be as clear as daylight, right? Nothing is as clear as that. So yeah, so the last thing that I want to say is communication can either build you or it can break you. And by that I mean like the miscommunication that we usually have with people that we love, because words are something that or how can I put it, words are very powerful. So if you say something, that person might remember it for life, and no matter how many times you apologize, then they may forgive you, but then they will never forget it. It will constantly ring in their heads. So that's why we have to be very careful when we're using words, and when we're using when we're texting or writing an email or something else, other medium of communications. But it's something that you have to be very careful of. It's something that you have to train yourself to do. I as well. It's something that we have to nail it, man. You know, I'm not saying that we have to be perfect. We don't have to be perfect, because we're not perfect beings. But that can either make your relationship or break your relationship. And a relationship can either be with your boss, your employer, or with your employees if you are the boss, or your friends, or your spouse, whoever. It's something that we have to constantly work on. It's not a once-off process, right? So I hope this video is going to encourage someone out there to do better. And if people tell you that no, you are rude or whatever, just try to work on it. Because I mean, I don't want to be around people I don't want to be around people that are going to dim my light, or people that are going to interrupt my energy, you know, my peace. It's something that is very important to me, especially now as I'm growing older. I want to protect my peace with everything that I have. So if you come across people that I just don't know how to talk, or have that energy that is not wanted, then I avoid them by all means. So let's all try to do better. All right, guys, and I thank you. So please don't forget to subscribe again, to like, and to leave your comments down below. I really appreciate you guys, and I love you, and peace out.